Hello, welcome to Night Uber. My name is William Turk. I'll be your driver tonight. Today I'm going to talk about something that just is bugging me right now because of the drive I've had this evening, and that's Charlotte traffic. And I know, Charlotte's not as bad as Los Angeles or some other places like that, but um, it's a problem, and um, and as a driver, it affects me and my ability to pick up rides. Um, part part of the problem in general is that if you look at Charlotte's map, it looks like they drew all the streets using a French curve. And I know if you were born in the 21st century, you don't know what that is, but look it up. Um, and from my understanding is that goes back to the day when Charlotte was a small farming community before the gold rush, and so a lot of those roads that we take now were just paths connecting one farm to another or to the church, and they kind of followed the lay of the land. And I get that, but it seems to me that in the years since they could have laid out a more structured system. I mean, you look at Manhattan; it's got some roads that kind of like Broadway and Wall Street that kind of go kind of skew, but everything else is straight lines, and it's wonderful to get around Manhattan. Even though New York has got, I don't know, probably like 10 times, maybe not that much, but considerable more people and a much higher population density. So it can work. Um, and the after effect of all these roads that go together and change lanes and or change names and loop back on each other is that it's got to be difficult. A, programming GPS. Um, also, B, getting lights to work in the sequence that makes sense. Um, that being said, if you go downtown, if you're in Hickory, North Carolina, which is a great place to live, and you're out after about 10:30. If you're on the main road, the lights are going to be green all the way until someone comes up on a side road, and then it'll cycle through for them, and then cycle back green for you. But for the most part, if you're on the main road, you've got no problems. And if you're on the side road, you're going to stop, but you're not going to stop long because they've got intelligence built into the street signals. Drive around uptown Charlotte, the lights operate just as exactly as they do during rush hour. So you come up to a light and it's going to cycle just like it always did. So you're sitting there, no cross traffic until the light turns, and then someone will come and they'll have to stop while you go. It's not it's nuts. Um, but for the most part, I can accept that, and I can get around that. That's annoying, um, but it's okay. The thing that really bugs me is like when the Hornets first came to town. They put the Coliseum out on Tyvola Road. They had 6 lanes, the middle 4 of which they could change. So if I went to go see the Hornets. I want to say like '93. It was whenever J.R. Can't Read was playing for them. Um, we went, and they had huge, just like vast fields of parking. Um, and like I say, you get in easily, watch the game, you get out easily. It was brilliant. Um, and the Knights were playing out in Fort Mill, and I never saw them out there, but it was out away from the city center. Again, there's I think highway, it's either 77 or 85. I think 77, with very close to it. So again, very easy to get in and out of. And being a minor league team, it probably wasn't that bad. But now, when the Hornets left and they tried to lure the NBA back, they built that stupid Spectrum Center. It was Time Warner Cable Arena. It was the Spectrum Center right on damn 5th Street. So now 5th Street's kind of got to go to get around the Coliseum. It also causes other streets to terminate where they couldn't have gone through. So that on like a daily basis is a bit of a hassle because you're driving more than you should have needed to. And then they also, when they built, I guess Bank of America Stadium was technically first. I should have looked this up, but again, when they wanted to get a NFL team, they built Bank of America Stadium right on the like the northwest corner of the downtown. When I say downtown, Charlotteans call it uptown. I don't give a fuck. Sorry for my language, but I'm kind of steamed. So that area bordered by 277, the little belt line. For the most part, Bank of America Stadium is not an issue, and BB&T Stadium, where the Knights now play, is not an issue because it's a little bit further out. And when the Knights play, it causes a little bit of traffic problems. Again, being a minor league park, it's not too bad. But when the Hornets are playing, or they got damn Khalid or some other no talent hack at the Coliseum, that whole area just gets globbed up. And same thing with the Knights or the Panthers. And I understand when you got the team, especially at the end of the game, you're going to have traffic problems, or it's going to be more congested. Well, guess what? Raleigh does this right. Raleigh has got Carter Finley and PNC Arena right smack next to each other. They share, again, a generous amount of parking that you have to pay for. There's also lots of parking, like businesses around, where they'll charge you, $20 or whatever. But there's plenty of parking, and the roads going in and out are managed. It is not. I mean, you're going to have to wait, obviously, a little bit, but it's managed, and it's like I said, it's out where it's not. It's not part of the city's main nightlife. The nightlife is downtown or some of the outlying areas. There's not a whole lot of nightlife going on around Carter Finley. So again, when State gets done playing, you got a little bit of a hassle getting out, but you're not inconveniencing a whole lot of other people. And there's not a lot of pedestrian traffic. I mean, people walking to their cars, but it's not as bad as what I see downtown. And tonight was a case like that, which is why I'm kind of fired up. And the Panthers played against I forget who, Denver. And I could tell that the game wasn't going well because I've got the map and it shows where surge areas are. And so midway through the third quarter, the surge went to about $5-6. So I was trying to stay out of the area. I mean, and you want to say that's nuts. Why would you do that? Because I've had experience with stuff going on at the Coliseum, and then 4th of July when they had fireworks. Charlotte does not know how to control traffic flow. As luck would have it, I did end up picking up a rider from outside of Uptown, brought him into Moorhead Street, which is kind of just outside the belt line. Just like a half block outside the belt line. And I was trying to get him to, I think it was Church Street. So one block north of the main east-west road. And we got mired in this traffic because Moorhead kind of skirts right up by Bank of America Stadium. And we were stuck at the intersection of Tryon and Moorhead, which some of you may know is the Uptown Cabaret, um, which has nothing to do with the story, I guess, but just point of reference. And I was stuck on that block for 30 minutes until the guy finally said, I'm just going to walk the rest of the way. I said, I don't blame you. So he got out, walked, and I had to go pick up someone at, I forget the name of the place, but it's right at the corner of Moorhead and if they actually intersected 277B at the intersection, 277 actually overpasses Moorhead. But it's like 4 blocks away. And so I'm just sitting there, and it's creeping along. This guy's getting kind of agitated, and I would be too. And I'm looking at the map, and of course, it's kind of, I didn't see a way to get around. I mean, obviously there were ways to get around, but I'd have to go so far out of my way to avoid the traffic. I thought surely this is going to open up and let me through, but it didn't. I kept sitting there inching along, and finally he decided he wanted to cancel the ride. I said, "Don't do that. Let me cancel it, because that, they're going to charge you $5 for a cancellation fee, which is really, it's not something you can control." So he decided to walk to wherever he was going. Picked up another ride on Cedar Street, which is a little bit further out. I said, okay, I found, and I saw a way to do that because it was further north and east, so I can jog. I can't go, wanted me to go down Moorhead. But apparently the Uber app had no sense of the congestion because it was showing all roads clear, and it's usually pretty good about that, but it kind of failed me tonight. So I started working my way around, went up 4th Street to come back to where he was. But then they had Cedar blocked off, and it kind of forced me to turn into some neighborhood which really wasn't equipped for all that traffic. So I was trying to work my way back around to that guy, and he couldn't really grasp. I called him, and he couldn't really grasp why it was taking me so long. I was trying to explain. So I had to cancel that one. So that's 2 fares canceled. I finally just shut the damn thing off, worked my way up to Graham Street, got some gas, and started heading back around the outside to get to the airport. Because one good thing is, if something's happening uptown that causes fares to raise uptown, there's about 10-15 minute lag, and then the fares go up at the airport because everyone's leaving, trying to get downtown to get the surge fares, which leaves fewer people at the airport. So I can just as easily get a fare at the airport. It's much easier to get into the airport, and if you've been to Charlotte Airport, that's not always. It's not bad. It's getting better, but it can be kind of aggravating if at the end of a long trip you have to sit there and have to wait while traffic inches by you. But so at any rate, that's my beef. It seems to me that the police officers, I'm sure they were doing the best that they could, but I think they were just making stuff worse. I think if you had just put officers on every corner because you want a presence downtown, because you got drunk people walking around and acting like idiots, but put them at the intersections, tell them not to do anything unless there's emergency. Like these things get really fouled out. I think if you just let the lights, as shitty as they are, let them do their normal cycle, the people would get through a lot faster than blocking off roads or restriction, taking 2 lanes down to 1 and all that kind of crap. It's just a pain in the ass. And speaking of the airport, American Airlines, you got to get your shit together, because seems like half the people I pick up at the airport, I'm taking them to a hotel because they've got the flight canceled, or the flight left because one flight was delayed, and you didn't take care of them. So everyone that I've picked up that has taken American has had bad things to say. So, that's not really affecting me, but it's affecting a lot of people. The other thing I wanted to complain about is the construction on 77. They're repaving 77, and they're doing it at night. Like, I think they start 10:30 or 11 o'clock, which I appreciate that. I appreciate that you're doing it at night where there's less traffic, and it's got to be cooler. I mean, I'd rather be working in mid 70s, low 80s, and upper 90s. So I mean, I get that. The issue I have is when you close the entire freeway off and don't, with very little or no warning. I've had several times where I'm driving down 77, all of a sudden I'm shunted off on an exit ramp. And then there's no detour signs to tell me the best way to get back on 77, or how far I've got to go around 77. That's the main thing. So GPS will find alternate route, but sometimes it tries to dump me back on the section of 77 that's still part of that section that's under construction. So why they can't be a little more forward thinking and put out signs to warn you to get over, or that you're going to have to take the exit. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. And then B, help us get around the construction. So the final thing I want to complain about is why it's taking so long on Trade Street. It's my understanding, if I'm wrong, correct me somebody, it's my understanding that what they're doing is fixing the trolley system. Charlotte doesn't need a fucking trolley. Okay, trolleys were great before cars became widely available. And in cities that were established in that period, like San Francisco, the trolley system was established before people started using cars. It became part of their cultural identity. That's fine. There's no point in the 21st century going in and putting in a trolley that goes down an existing street. I've never seen the trolley actually running. I'm told that it does. I guess it's not now because they're doing construction or extensions, but I just can't imagine like driving down Trade Street and then having to get over because you're having to pass a freaking trolley. Now, if you use it and you think it's great, let me know, because I just don't see the point. So anyway, that's my rant about some of the ways that Charlotte's just terrible. If you're moving to North Carolina, don't move to Charlotte. Move to Raleigh if you like towns, cities. Asheville's great. Hickory's amazing. Greensboro, and Greensville are both good. Just about any town. I'd rather live in Chapel fucking Hill than live in Charlotte right now. Again, that's partly, I know, because of my frustration with the way tonight went, but seriously, Triangle's got so much more to offer than Charlotte does. It's sad. So anyway, thanks for hearing me bitch. I hope maybe it entertained you some. So stay safe out there. If you need a ride, get a ride. And see you later.